All right, let's do this. We're diving into some seriously interesting stuff today, all about GameStop. You send over this collection of posts from Reddit, and wow, people are really hyped.
Yeah, you can practically feel the anticipation, right? Especially with everyone waiting to see what Roaring Kitty might do today.
Oh, especially with it being National Cat Day, too.
Exactly.
Just adds another layer to the whole thing. But even before that, like on the 28th, GameStop's stock shot up over 10%.
Yeah, it closed at $22.73.
And now everyone's like obsessed with figuring out why.
It's like a giant puzzle, and they're all looking for the missing pieces.
And you can see that energy in all these Reddit posts. Like there's this one on our Superstock just titled, plus 10.50 part $2.16 GameStop closing price, $22.73, October 28th, 2024.
I saw that one.
And the comments are insane, just flooded with theories and emojis and...
It's like a collective brainstorming session.
Totally.
Everyone's throwing out ideas, analyzing charts, trying to connect the dots.
I mean, I kind of love that energy. It's exciting.
It is. There's a real sense of community there. Like, they're all in this together.
And then you've got the whole Cat Day thing happen over on our GME.
Right. It's like their own holiday.
Seriously. And this one post with the title, get this, AVOCADO-IN-MY-ANUS should post at 4:20 p.m. Eastern. I mean, it's a little wild.
Oh, definitely. But it's actually referring to a user who a lot of people think is Roaring Kitty himself.
Okay, so is AVOCADO-IN-MY-ANUS the username?
Yeah, that's the username. They're known for these kind of cryptic posts.
Ah, okay.
And, strategic timing. He's actually posted on National Cat Day before, so now everyone's just waiting to see if he'll do it again.
And they're losing their minds.
Yeah.
Someone else even chimed in saying, I'm expecting Happy Cat Day at 1:20 a.m. my time, Seattle. Like they're analyzing time zones.
It's incredible, the level of detail and analysis. They're like internet detectives.
It really is. And then we jump over to Charteti and things get, I don't know, a little mysterious.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
This post just says, we found Roaring Kitty's account. But then it links to a profile with the message, I heard you're not a cat.
It's so cryptic.
Right.
What does it even mean?
Everyone's trying to figure that out. Is it a hint? A joke? Something else entirely?
For just one sentence, it sparked a ton of discussion.
It really shows the power Roaring Kitty has.
Mm-hmm.
Like every word he says or that people think he says is scrutinized.
It's almost like a cult of personality.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And that kind of devotion can really impact the market. Speaking of which, over on Supersonk, someone straight up asked, question for MSM, why is GME up 10% on no news?
Good question.
Right. And it really reflects this feeling in these online communities, like they're in the know, they see things the mainstream media is missing.
They've built their own financial world almost.
In a way, they have.
With their own language and theories and everything.
But it's also good to see that skepticism, that they're not just blindly accepting what they're told, they're asking questions. Totally. It makes you think twice about everything, right? Like, maybe we should all be questioning things a little more.
Absolutely. It's healthy.
Definitely. Okay, so back on our Superstonk, there's this thread. They look unhedged this week. Call volume came in fast. YOLO.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw that one.
And someone commented, it's Monday. You know what happens by Friday. What do you think they mean by that?
Well, I think it's a mix of their skepticism and almost this playful expectation of market manipulation.
Interesting. You think they really believe someone's manipulating the market?
I think they're very aware of the power dynamics at play, and they're looking for any signs of something unusual happening. It's like they're saying, we've seen this before, we know how this goes, but instead of just sitting back, they're trying to use that knowledge to their advantage.
Oh, totally. And that kind of ties into the whole DRS movement, right? Direct registering of shares.
Yeah, exactly. This is where things get interesting. DRS is all about actually owning your shares, for real.
Instead of having them through a broker.
Exactly. They're registering them directly with GameStop's transfer agent.
So no middleman.
Right. And that means those shares can't be lent out for short selling, which is something a lot of these investors think is, a big part of how the stock price is manipulated.
That's a bold move.
It really is. It shows how dedicated they are. It's not just buy and hold. They're actively trying to change the game.
And it brings us back to that whole question of market manipulation. I mean, whether or not it's actually happening is a whole other deep dive. But just the fact that these communities are so focused on it, it's telling.
It really is. It's like they've developed this sixth sense for spotting anything unusual.
Like they're always on the lookout.
Exactly. And they're constantly sharing their theories and findings online. And even if not everything is, spot on, it creates this really interesting space for information and analysis that's often ignored by the mainstream.
Right. And sometimes they even use humor to cope with the whole, complexity of the market. Like in that R Super Stock thread where someone was asking about the stock going up with no news, someone joked about the "When I Was a Boy in Bulgaria" interview.
Ah, yeah. That's become a classic meme.
It's hilarious. But it also shows they're not going to be fooled easily.
Exactly. They see through the BS. They're not afraid to call out hypocrisy.
Which brings us to another interesting point. How much memes in internet culture influence financial narratives now?
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, from that avocado-in-my-anus post title to all the 4.20 references, even the way they use emojis and slang.
They've created their own language almost.
And it sets them apart,
Yeah.
right? Like they're in this exclusive club.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a secret society. And, some people might think it's silly, but I think it's kind of cool finding community and meaning in unexpected places.
Especially in a world that can feel, I don't know, kind of confusing sometimes.
For sure. And that sense of belonging is amplified by their shared skepticism towards the media, the institutions. They're fighting an uphill battle, and that creates a strong bond.
And that's so clear in that post, question for MSM. It's more than just a question. It's a statement. Like, we don't need your explanations. We have our own.
It's really empowering, especially for people who feel ignored by the financial establishment. Like, you don't have to accept the narratives you're given. You can challenge them, make your own.
I love that. And honestly, that might be one of the most important lessons from this whole GameStop thing. Regardless of whether you agree with their investments, there's something inspiring about their willingness to think for themselves.
Definitely. It's a reminder that finance isn't just about numbers. It's about people, emotions, and even memes.
And you have to understand that human element, right?
Absolutely. Especially now with online communities and social media having such a big impact.
It's about going deeper, questioning things, being open to different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what this whole deep dive is about, isn't it?
Exactly. We're exploring this phenomenon, trying to understand it, and hopefully learning something along the way.
And speaking of learning, there was another thread that caught my eye. It's on R Superstonk, titled Citadel Connects. The original poster asks, "What are your thoughts on this?" and includes a link to a Bloomberg article. It's about Citadel Securities expanding its network to reach 2,900 brokers.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one.
So what do you think? What's the big deal?
Well, it plays into the whole conversation about how the market is structured and the role of these big players like Citadel. It shows how these companies are constantly adapting, to maintain their position.
It's like a constant evolution.
Exactly.
And for GameStop investors, this kind of news is always seen with suspicion, right?
Yeah, for sure. They're always looking for connections, conflicts of interest, anything that supports their ideas about market manipulation.
It's like they're putting together this giant puzzle. Every little piece of information, whether it's a tweet, a stock chart, or a news article, they analyze it.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to watch this constant pursuit of information. They're committed to finding the truth as they see it.
And that brings us to another post, this time from RGME, simply titled, "Buckle Up." And it's just a screenshot of a tweet.
Oh, I think I saw that one. Tweets can be so cryptic, but they give you a sense of the mood, What does it say?
It says it didn't sell on the pump in January 2021, didn't sell when GME hit $483, didn't sell during the sneeze, certainly not selling now. This is about more than money.
Wow. That gets to the heart of it, right? It's not just about making a quick buck. It's about something bigger, challenging the system, fighting for fairness.
And being part of a movement.
Exactly. Taking a stand, even if it means going against the grain. Holding on to their beliefs no matter what.
It's powerful.
It really is. It's what fuels their dedication, their research, everything.
It's about belonging, making a difference, and showing that regular people can challenge the powers that be. It's like they've tapped into this, collective understanding of the market.
Or at least how they think it works.
Right. And that gives them a sense of power. Like they're not just watching, they're playing the game.
And they think the game's been rigged against them.
For sure. And that's where this whole cat day thing with Roaring Kitty comes in.
It's not just about hoping he'll say something that makes them rich.
It's more like reaffirming their belief in him.
Yeah.
Like he's their leader.
Exactly. He represents their values, their whole fight.
And it's a way for them to come together.
It's a rallying cry.
And that energy, it can actually impact the market. even if it's just for a short time.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The belief itself becomes the driving force.
Whether the event lives up to the hype or not.
Yeah. Which is what makes this whole thing so fascinating, From a psychological perspective, from a sociological perspective.
Totally. It shows that markets aren't just about numbers and logic.
Right. It's people, emotions, narratives, even, like you said, these almost absurd rituals.
Like waiting for a cat-themed post.
Exactly. And understanding that human side of it, that's what's key, especially now when online communities are so influential.
They're driving the narrative.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to ask, what have we learned?
What have we learned?
I mean, we've seen how people can challenge the system.
Yeah, how they can use the internet to make their voices heard.
And create their own financial world almost.
With their own language, their own rules.
It's amazing. We've seen how skepticism, even if it goes into conspiracy theory territory sometimes, can be such a powerful force.
Right. And how humor can be a way to deal with all the complexity and, honestly, the frustration.
And how a shared goal can bring people together from all different backgrounds.
And, it's interesting to see how the lines between investing and these online communities, even social movements, they're blurring.
Definitely. And these alternative narratives, they're challenging the traditional financial stories we've always been told.
And that's leading to a bigger shift.
Towards more, democratization?
Yeah. Transparency. Individual empowerment.
It's a new world, and it's exciting.
It really is, but also unpredictable.
For everyone, investors and institutions alike.
Exactly.
And for you, our listener, the big takeaway is this. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
To think for yourself.
To look for different perspectives.
The financial world is always changing, and the only way to make sense of it is to stay informed.
To stay engaged.
Yeah.
To keep learning.
And hey, maybe by exploring these, sometimes chaotic online communities, you'll find something valuable.
Something the mainstream has missed. So stay curious, stay informed, keep diving deeper.
And we'll see you on the next deep dive.
Thanks for listening.